Welcome to the Girl Gang. I'm Katrina Gardner of Katrina and Create.
And I'm Dominique Goyette-Connerty of Evergreen Marketing. On this show, we're going to chat with women business owners in Massachusetts and those who support local women in business.
Because girls don't just want to have fun. They also want to sell real estate.
They want to open a brewery.
They want to teach others to invest in the stock market.
They want to take stunning photos, plan lavish parties, and help people recover from injuries.
Girls just want a podcast.
What can we say?
We're girls. Hi, ladies. Welcome to Girls Just Wanna, the podcast. Welcome back. I am Katrina Gardner.
And I'm Dominique Goyette-Connerty.
And we are chatting to someone very exciting this week. But before that, let's dive into some of our updates. I wanted to let you know that my husband is lemon lawing his car right now.
Tell me more.
Do you know what lemon lawing is? Because I don't honestly even know exactly what it is myself. Ma'am, this is please silence your cell phone.
Oh, God.
So yeah, we're lemon lawing a car. So the story is that my husband bought a new car. We loved it. It was a Ford Escape that he bought.
Love a Ford Escape. I do remember that.
Yeah, he traded it in, his old Ford Focus. 2 days after he bought the car, he brought it back to the dealership, which was a Volkswagen dealership, to get it inspected from them, and then it wouldn't turn on. It just died. So they did fix it. It passed inspection. He brought it home. 2 days later, we're at the vet, the whole family, car doesn't turn on.
Nice.
So he brings it back to the dealership, and he's so sweet. He's such a nice guy that I was like, you need to call them. And I was like, do you want corporate Katrina to call them? Because, and he's like, no, I got it. But then
even corporate Katrina isn't that scary.
No.
I think the next level up is you got to call me in.
Yeah.
I'll go fight someone.
Yeah. Yeah. But he calls and he's leaving a voicemail, and I'm right next to him. He's like,
Hi. So sorry for the inconvenience.
He's like, I'm just a little concerned. And I'm like,
concerned?
I know. I'm like, this is unacceptable. I'm like, you just spent $10 grand or whatever. They need to fix this problem. They need to fix it now. But he was being very nice. He's a very nice guy. But yeah, so they still have the car. I think they sent it to the Ford place. And yeah. And then he was like, so I'm lemon lawing my car. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I've heard the term lemon law. So he explained it to me a little bit, and I guess there's just this law that if you buy a car, I don't know if it's in Mass or across the country, I have no idea, but if you buy a car and it doesn't work, within the first week, you legally have the right to, get all your money back and, give it back to whoever sold it to you.
Okay. I didn't realize this was a real thing.
I know.
I thought that so when you said lemon law, I was thinking, and someone out there correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that a term used on How I Met Your Mother, the TV show? Where Barney's lemon law. And so it's literally when you go on a date, a first date or a couple dates, and you are just this isn't going to work out. You just say to them yeah, I'm lemon lawing this.
I'm currently rewatching How I Met Your Mother.
Okay, so find the episode.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's lemon law.
Probably.
And it's literally just you know what? This isn't going to work.
No, I think it's a real term. I know that they'll say oh, that car's a lemon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So maybe I should call Jess. We're can you?
Hi,
for
welcome.
The people.
Our first call in on the pod. Hi, welcome.
Can you please explain lemon law to us girlies?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He's like, Katrina, shut up.
He's like, you left me home with our 3 kids, the kid and the 2 cats. So that's my update. So we'll see. But we've been driving a really cool rental. That's really nice.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, a Volkswagen Tiguan, and it's got the double sunroof.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it's got
nice.
the automatic start. I didn't know how to turn it on the first time I got in it.
Oh.
I figured it out.
Yeah, you just press the button.
No.
Okay, sorry.
You have to press on the
the
brake.
brake and press the
button.
Katrina.
Took me a long time.
I thought that part was implied. I'm sorry.
Why would you have to press on the brake? It's in park.
Well, don't you have to press on the brake when you shift from like park to reverse and park to drive.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
But you're not doing that when you turn the car on. I'm going to turn the car on and sit there for a little bit, get my podcast ready.
Speaking of double sunroof, just want to bring up for all the New England peeps out there. I just said peeps. I told myself I'm not going to say peeps in the podcast. I don't know where it came from, but
we're going to start a tally.
I don't think I've ever said peeps in the past 12 years.
I'm going to start calling you out every time.
Please.
I hear you say peeps. I'm just going to go like this.
I cringe when I listen back to the episode. I'm like, why did I say peeps? But anyways.
So the New England peeps.
Cringe. The New Englanders. Just tell me one thing. Why is it sunny during the week and then every weekend it rains? Explain that to me.
Maybe the universe is mad at us.
I saw
as humans.
I saw a TikTok and this girl was like, you know what's so great about living in New England is you don't need a calendar because if it's raining, you know it's the weekend, and if it's sunny, you know you're supposed to be at work. And I was like, it's so true.
You were just crying.
I was like, it's so true. It hurts.
Is it supposed to rain this weekend?
It is nice today on a Friday, and tomorrow it is supposed to be cloudy all day, and Sunday it's supposed to rain all day. Again. And it rained all last weekend and thunderstormed.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, can we not?
So I've had this unfortunate pattern in my life where anytime I plan an event, it rains. Without fail.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you've told me about that.
So, I'm going on vacation next week. It's probably going to be rainy. 4th of July.
I saw the weather. It's supposed to be nice.
That'll change.
So far, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, it rained for my wedding. It rained for, another outdoor thing that I had planned. It rained when I planned, a weekend girls trip to the Cape.
So you're telling me you're the problem.
Yeah.
Basically, if you leave New England, we'll have nice weekends.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's try it.
Okay. Does anyone want to fund my trip? I'll go anywhere.
And with that, we are going to get into the episode for this week.
Yay. Welcome, Kate. Thank you so much for being on the show. We are so excited to have you here. We're going to talk about a lot of fun things today. Where you currently are right now with Kate Lally Coaching, where you started, what your whole journey has been with doing your own thing. But why don't you get us started by telling us about Kate Lally Coaching and what you've got going on there?
Sure. It's so funny. I was just chatting with a woman. I'll refer to her as my business mentor / fairy godmother this morning about how I'm so in betwixt seasons right now. I feel like a lot more is coming through for Kate Lally Coaching, but right now I do one-on-one sessions with people that are 3-month, 6-month, or 9-month journeys. And then I also offer and host full moon circles in the community as an extension of that. So one big difference between therapy is that the life coach hat, I also wear a spiritual hat and kind of encapsulate that part of me as well. So with coaching, I tend to help women that are feeling stuck in a rut or stuck in a box. They might be looking for more in terms of a career shift. I'm not a career coach, but what I do is kind of work from the inside out. So help women kind of own and claim more of who they are and step into their power so that then they feel safe to expand and grow. A lot of clients, I say, birth a business baby or a side hustle as a result of our work together and have something new kind of come through them that they didn't see coming ahead of time. And I have had clients as a natural end result have a career move happen, but that's not the intention. It's typically that they've wanted more, but they don't know how to get there. And not just in work, also in relationships. And it always starts with how we relate to ourselves as well. So that's really the first part of the journey is to kind of rewire and undo some of our conditioning to help women really shine and radiate. And actually something new that I'm extending into coaching is a 1-hour photo transformation. And when I said radiate, I'm radiance sessions are that 1-hour photo shoot. So it's a a way to highlight your inner transformation and how you feel safe to like stand out, to kind of glow or take up a little bit more space than you did when we first started working together. And it's also fun for me because I'm owning that I wear lots of hats.
Right.
The photographer hat, my husband and I run and own Seeking Spirit Photography, but then I also incorporate that into the coaching as well.
Yeah.
Right. And you didn't start as a coach. You didn't start as Kate Lally coaching, right? So we were talking before you kind of came on about your start as a therapist and a licensed mental health counselor, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So what is that sort of journey? Like, first of all, how did you start there? And then what made you want to like transition into becoming a coach?
Yeah, great question. It is long and winding and ever unfolding, I'll say. Sometimes I don't even know what's coming next. I didn't see my return to therapy coming until it recently happened, and I was like, yeah, this was when like meant to be. So it's hard for me to separate myself as a woman from myself as a therapist, because I think that I chose Assumption is where I went to grad school and what brought me to Worcester. I think that I chose that grad school program because it matched my level of growth and awareness as a woman. I was trained in cognitive behavioral therapy, which works at the thought level. And I worked, at a nonprofit. I loved the work I did, the clients that I saw for 9 years. And that served me well for about 7 of those years until I recognized as a woman I had my own blocks. I had stuff I needed to work on. So I sought out therapy for myself. And it really interestingly, when I received the same support that I was offering to others, I was like, is this it? Because this isn't really helping me.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, wait a minute. And I had a mini like life crisis. And I remember going to visit a friend of mine that lived in the Virgin Islands at the time and being like, I don't know if I want to stay a therapist. Like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And just really like reevaluating my whole life and my choices and kind of everything that led me to that. And I just think I was feeling stuck in a box. That's a big metaphor for me in the work that I do. And I needed to see that you could do therapy outside of the way that I was trained and outside of the box of the system that I worked in. But I really struggled with that. And as I began my own kind of self-development journey of untangling my own conditioning and the ways I was taught to like dim myself and stay small and trust other people that had more power than me, I started to become a mismatch for that environment. And I was actually come down on very hard and became a target in the workplace. So my new self was not supported in that environment. And looking back, I can also see, I'm like, I wish I had a life coach back then or knew what that was, because I had a lot of fear and scarcity in my mind that prevented me from feeling safe to like make my own private practice at that point and kind of step outside, the box of that. But I was single and it's hard to own a business, alone, and health insurance and all of those things. So I stayed. And I was very aligned with the clients that I worked with. So that also kind of kept me there. But long story short, I had my own little breakdown to breakthrough that led me to see things outside the traditional box of therapy, to seek out other methods. I found a life coach very synchronistically, like it just kind of happened. Followed her for a couple of years on Instagram, decided to invest in her life coach training, and then started offering that. And I let go of therapy, and I think I let go of it a little bit too soon, and it was hard to delineate the two services as different. So that's also why I'm like, now I'm in a great place, where I can very succinctly like say what the difference is between therapy or, coaching, and help guide clients to whatever service would best fit them. Because a lot of people think it's the same or similar, or, just don't really get what one is for compared to the other. So
So now you offer both.
Yes, I do.
Coaching and the therapy, and this is through your own private practice, Kate Lally Coaching,
which are distinct businesses. They are different, and separate. So if people come to me for therapy, they get therapy, and they only kind of know that that's what I'm offering, or they find me elsewhere, for the coaching services.
Okay. And so what kind of people, I know you said you work primarily with women.
I actually have a lot of male therapy clients.
You do?
I do.
Okay. So how do people find you, and like what, at kind of like what state do they come to you? Like, you know, I think I need therapy, or, you know, I think I need life coaching. Like, are they at a breakdown? Are they just like switching therapy? You know, like, I guess how do people kind of
That's a good question.
come to
Making me
see
think
you?
through who I have. So, and currently, like, as I stepped back into therapy, I let it go for a while, and I just reopened my practice about a year ago in May. I've attracted a lot of more high functioning clients than I previously had in the past. So a lot of them are doing well, you know, in life, and they're not in crisis or kind of breakdown mode, but they just like, I actually hear from a lot of guys that they like want to do their inner work, and some of them don't even know what that really means. It's like their wife told them, you know, and
they saw it on TikTok.
I cannot tell you actually how many men that I had say in their 20s that were like, yeah, well, I heard about therapy on a podcast, and like I think it would be good for me, but they don't even have a goal sometimes. So a lot of my like initial work with clients has been like, you know, coming up with goals or adjusting their expectation, because sometimes they don't quite know how it works, or telling them, like, I call it having therapy content. I'm like, it's your job to come into session with like some things to talk about or goals. You don't just show up and be like, I want to do the work.
Yeah, I want to do the work. I don't know what the work is.
Right.
But I think I want to do it.
Yeah, so they just wait on me. So it's been really interesting and kind of fun. So I say my husband trained me to work with men really well, because he needed some work on himself. We all do, but he's done a lot of work on himself too. So I think I don't like put out there that I'm looking for male clients or anything. It's just really interesting that I have a lot of men. And also similarly, I got married last September, and I got an influx of couples, and I had never done couples work before too.
You do
I
couples
do
therapy.
couples. Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but it's so weird. It's like my energy must be, you know, like no one knew I got married, but all of a sudden all these clients came in.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love how you said too before that, you know, you kind of suck out. You were looking for your own, like, you had a life coach, and that kind of like having that experience led you to like, okay, this is what I need to be doing, and this is what.
Yes.
So you get that, like, I don't know, you have to see it from the receiving end in order to be offering it.
That, I will say, is almost how I've done everything thus far. Everything that I offer, I have to like try it on for size first, and kind of believe in it before I can really feel safe to sell it for someone. And even with photography, you know, like same thing. Like I love to invest in it and see how other people do it, or, you know, hone that skill set and really understand it before I offer it. So
and so my therapist, so I do CBT because I have anxiety, and so that was referred to me a few years ago when I got diagnosed. So I looked for a therapist that specialized in cognitive behavioral therapy for women who have anxiety or stress or what, you know, you look for, I understand that these therapists have their specialties, and they have their certain types of clients that are their bread and butter. So I, you know, again, suck that out. Is that a word? I don't know.
Suss that out? Is that what you're saying? Like suss.
Or like
Sawed it
out?
Okay.
I think. English. And so I found Rebecca, shout out, we love her. And she's also, so she's an LMHC, and she's also a life coach.
I think I know who she is, actually, with the name Rebecca.
That'd be funny. It's Rebecca Garino.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I just know of her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
shout out
that's so
Rebecca
funny.
Garino. Shout out Kate Lally. So she also is a life coach in addition to being an LMHC, so you guys have that in common. And I think what I like have liked about her therapy is that because I see her for therapy. She is my LMHC. And I like that she has the life coach side where it's almost like it influences the therapy.
Yep.
So it's not like, I guess before I was really involved in like weekly therapy, I think there's this like, this sort of like reputation or this stereotype that it's like, let's talk about our feelings today. And that is like not me at all. Where she takes this approach of like, what are you working on? Like, what would you have done differently? What do you want to achieve by this time next week, next month, next year? Like, where do you see this going? Like, how could we
goal oriented?
Like, and so I don't know that that's what every CBT therapist does. I'm sure it's not.
Everyone's so different.
And I know it's also about like finding a good fit, obviously.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you have to go through
That's the number one factor that makes therapy successful.
Yes, is like sometimes you do have to go through a few therapists, a few professionals to find the right one. And yeah, so I've just like really liked that approach, and I wonder if that is kind of similar to what you do, if you feel like there's an influence from the life coaching, that now that you've gone back into accepting therapy clients, you kind of, even though they are two separate businesses, two separate clients or clienteles, you know, you feel like one influences the other.
Yeah, I say like I definitely put one hat on when I'm in each role, but I can't not, you know, have the knowledge and experience and lens, you know, that I use. But really for me, and I actually heard this metaphor from someone else, which I love as the photographer part of me too, is that a great way to describe the difference for therapy and coaching is you use a different lens to see the client through, right? Like there's symptoms, there's diagnoses, there's disorders, there's like problems, there's symptom focused treatment. And if you're working with therapy clients, they tend to be struggling in some capacity and want, you know, to enhance functioning or decrease, you know, functioning or struggle in some capacity. So it's, choosing the lens, and often when clients choose that level of support, that's what they expect you to see them through that lens. Where coaching, for me at least, you assume that the client is already functioning well and they want more out of life. You know, so it's like looking at the glass half full and what else can we add, enhance, you know, get more from.
I'm curious, like, I know I've heard people say, and, you know, I've seen it, like, everyone should be in therapy. Like, but
I was going to ask that question. Oh my gosh, telepathy.
I was curious if you, like, share that sentiment, or if you actually think that maybe everyone should be, you know, either in therapy versus life coaching. Like, maybe if someone needs therapy, or does they don't need the other,
or does someone, you know, is that true? Does everybody need therapy? Does everybody need life coaching? Or does everybody need just like a mentor that they can trust? Like, I guess, what is like your perspective?
Yeah,
that's a great question. And I'll say, like, my quick answer would be like, yes, sure, everyone would benefit from either service or a mentor. I just had a new young male client share with me that he has a mentor that's like not a paid thing, and he was very evolved and said, like, I think that's just the way of the world. Like, everyone should give back and have a mentor and whatever. And I love that perspective. Not everyone is that lucky, but we can choose support for ourselves. So what I've said is that I think that we can kind of pulse in and out of either service, like therapy or coaching, as needed. I was saying to someone recently that I think that therapy is a great service. Like, if you have a problem, or like, say you lost a loved one, or like something comes up, of course, get yourself, you know, the right level of therapy and style of support that you need, but allow it to end also. Sometimes we need a different style. I've had clients talking about EMDR and like, you know, needing something different. So knowing that can kind of, our therapy journey can evolve. We might want a different therapist at another point in our lives, and as we grow and evolve, it's kind of cool to like reflect on our lives again from that new vantage point. Like, we have a different way of seeing things that happened 10 years ago, and we can revisit it from a different perspective. So I think there's a difference also in, sometimes we can choose therapy from a disempowered place if we feel like we are in struggle or in crisis, and we're like, oh my God, and we can be a little dependent on the service. But as we grow and evolve, we can keep saying yes to it from like a more and more empowered place. And I think that's what you're describing. You're like, I love therapy, you know, like I love going, and it's because you also probably don't need it to the extent, like, you're not going to fall apart without it, but it benefits you, it enhances you know, you in a lot of different ways. So that's my view on therapy. And I'd say coaching is great when you have a vision for your next self. Like, you're like, okay, that's what I want. I say we kind of like lasso, like that's me on the mountain up there, and I don't know how to get there alone. So you have to have a vision in order to really like make it useful. So with that said, like, it's great to start there, and then I've had some clients that do what I call monthly maintenance sessions. So after they've done, you know, a journey 3, 6, or 9 months, but they like the growth and momentum, they don't want to let it go. They continue on a monthly cadence to just make sure they're not like slipping backwards, and they're always moving ahead.
It's almost like an accountability partner. Like, you hold them accountable to what they said they wanted to work on, or where they wanted to be. Now, if someone doesn't know where they want to go next, they like don't know what they want, they like don't have a specific goal in mind, and they're not an ideal client for coaching, right? So that's more of like a therapy perhaps.
Yeah, they could better.
Like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah, like explore that. And I'd say, sometimes insurance covers therapy and it's less of an investment traditionally than coaching. So why pay a lot of money for coaching if you're not really sure what you want?
Yeah.
Also, so good to have a space to explore that.
And backtracking just a little bit, we were talking about how a large percentage of if therapy is going to be successful for you or if coaching is going to be successful for you is finding the right fit. And I think the right fit is often underrated. What has been your experience with like with clients finding the right fit in you, and if they ever, if they decide, oh, this isn't working and they have to break up with you, or if you decide, or, if you see like, maybe I'm not the right person for you. Have there been like instances of that? And what is that sort of like process like?
It's really interesting. I'm trying to like reflect back and be like, when has that happened? Or when have I had to refer out? I don't know. It would happen very early on for me.
Right.
I offer like either a discovery call for coaching so we can figure out if it's the right fit, what they need before they say yes, but also I do a call with everyone before starting therapy. So if I get the sense that I wouldn't be the right fit, I wouldn't even take them on. And I would say like I can't think of someone that I've ended up with on my caseload, where I've gotten into it and been like, oh God, this is, they need something else. But it's funny, I'm kind of in that space with a couple teens right now, where I think I'm phasing out the work and I've ended up supporting the parent instead because that's the better match for me right now. I can do better work, and I really value motivated clients. Like I just enjoy that so much. It doesn't matter.
Well, that's one of the things that I was thinking of too, is along with like finding the right match, I think the person receiving therapy or the coaching like needs to want it, like needs to want to be there. Because I remember when I was 18, we had a court-ordered family therapy session. We don't need to get into it. Family trauma. And then after that, they were like, oh, Katrina, little teary-eyed girl over there, like she should be in therapy. But I did not want to. Like I was not ready to talk about my feelings. So like for weeks, they'd be like, what do you want to talk about? And I'd just like sit there. Like, And like, it
was
was
not fun for you or
right,
the therapist.
Right. Yeah. So eventually like we stopped doing that. But I think that that's really, really important. And then I went back to therapy like years later as an adult. Like I was like, I'm ready to talk about it.
You're like, all right,
and
buckle up.
Such an empowered choice when you get to choose it. That's actually why I'm kind of discontinuing with one teen. And I sent an email to the parents. I said, I don't want the child to think that we're, giving up on them or giving in to their resistance to therapy, but instead like honoring that they're not in a receptive state and they're going to have a worse, experience with therapy. We don't want to leave a bad taste in their mouth if and when they want it for themselves in the future. So that's like a perfect example of that. Like being in choice, is such an empowered thing.
Yeah. Like mandated therapy or like parents choosing to do it or like a spouse being like, you have to go, it's like, it's not going to work. Like unless it comes from you yourself.
Yes. You're reminding me of my nonprofit days where so many clients were told to be there because their parents said they needed to be there or court ordered or different things. And it was not fun when you couldn't choose your clients. So.
Right. Yeah. Right. I also
niche.
Yeah. And back to what you had said much earlier in this interview about like you get to this, you kind of like evolve and you're on this journey and then you can get to this higher vantage point where you look back like, oh, okay, like now I'm ready to move on to this, or that's what I needed at that point, or it's not what I needed at that point. And I feel like the same way. Like there were times earlier in my life where I probably could have benefited from these professional services, but I didn't know that I needed them, or I was resistant because of what I thought about them. And like the therapist that I have now, Rebecca, that who I love. If I had met her 5 years ago, wouldn't have chosen her. You know what I mean? I would have done a couple of sessions and would have been like, she's not right for me. You grow up, you mature, you become a different person. Like we're obviously ever evolving. And I think to be able to like, honestly just have that self-awareness. Like if I had met her 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been right for me. Is like, good for me, honestly, like an evolved, like, state to come from. And maybe 10 years from now I'm like, okay, well, she was right for me at that time, but now that's not what I need. This is what I need.
And
Right.
walk away with that skill set so you can keep evolving.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's totally like interesting to take that kind of 50,000 foot view
Yes.
when you get there.
I do that often myself, where I've thought about like, oh, I could have benefited from that level of support
Right.
at the time, but I also had trauma from my relating to therapists, so I was kind of resistant to that for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting.
Yep.
It is.
Yep. The
Wow.
journey's real.
Well, before we wrap up here, is there anything else you want to tell us about Kate Lally Coaching and, you know, how people could get in contact with you, or, you know, are you accepting new clients for coaching or therapy? What do you got going on?
Thank you. Kate Lally Coaching on Instagram is where kind of all my links are, and where I feel like that business is housed for the most part. I'd love for anyone to attend a full moon circle as well. Those are really fun. On the Friday closest to the full moon at Third Eye Yoga Studio, I rent space there once a month. So it's really fun, and that's kind of a community building event. I've also hosted some self-development book clubs, which we'll be picking up again in September.
Nice.
So I do have space for new clients for coaching. Therapy is fairly full, but I'm working on a wait list as well if anyone is interested in that. Like, what else did you ask me?
Just if there, that's pretty much it. Just
Yeah.
if you were accepting
Like
new
I was
clients
thinking.
and if people needed to reach out to you. Yeah. So as you know, because I know you've listened to some episodes, we like to end every episode asking you to shout out another women-owned business or, you know, woman in business.
Yes.
So who do you have for us?
Can I do two quick?
Yeah.
Because I
Yes.
thought of two. One, our wedding photographer, Stephanie Dozois, and she also
Okay.
does boudoir empowerment.
Yes, we've met her.
sessions.
We've met her at conferences.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She spoke.
You'll
at
know her.
The
Yeah.
last one, the panel.
Yeah.
Which actually, I bought these earrings there, and I was like, I haven't worn them yet, so I'm like
Love it.
connecting
Yeah, those
me
are very
back to the
cute.
energy of the day. But Steph is an amazing woman and photographer as well, and just thought of her as like a person. We loved her photos for our wedding; were incredible. So that, and then I also thought of Giselle Rivera Flores.
Yeah,
She's
okay.
been like a friend and guiding light to
Giselle,
me
yeah.
on the path of entrepreneurship. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
Business hat was the last one
Yeah.
that I knew how to put on. I had all the skills to
Yeah.
work with people, but no idea how to be an entrepreneur or run a business. So
Right.
I worked with Giselle multiple times.
Yeah.
And
Nice,
just
yeah.
really think she's an amazing woman, mom, mentor.
Yeah.
and
She's
everything.
another person who I don't think I've met her personally, but
Yeah.
obviously follow her on all the things and
Yeah.
see everything she's doing. And she's someone who wears a lot of hats.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
She's,
definitely
like,
to be admired.
So powerful,
Yes.
but then she's also so sweet. Every time I would
Yes.
see her, she'd
Yeah.
be like, "Hey, mama," because I had a little baby when we
Yeah.
first met, and I'm like, "Hi." She's like, "How's it going?" I'm like, "It's
Yes.
hard." she's like,
She's
"You
like,
got it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you said that about her though, because as a multi-passionate woman,
Yeah.
I think that's why Giselle and her husband too,
Yeah.
who
Right.
also, does a lot of good work in the community, were like guiding lights for
Yeah.
me, because I don't think I knew anyone that like wore so many hats or
Yeah.
did so many things and knew like felt safe to own that. So I've
Yeah.
needed like models of women
Yeah.
that are very multifaceted.
Yeah, they need to show you that it's possible. So you're like, well, if they can do it, like
Right.
maybe I can do it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think a lot of us in entrepreneurship, we didn't necessarily come from a family of entrepreneurs or
Correct.
have a model, so we
Right.
had to look for other women or people to kind of help with that.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Awesome.
shout out Giselle.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for making time and coming down here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Thanks
been
for the
awesome to talk to you.
opportunity.
Absolutely.
I love that you're doing this too.
Yeah.
just
I know,
in
we're really
general.
excited about
It's
it,
fun.
honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the
All
beginning
right.
was something awesome.
Yes, seriously. Well,
Yeah.
thank you again so much. And
you.
we'll love to see what you're doing in the future and how things evolve for you.
Yeah, same. Thank you.
Welcome back to another segment of Heart It or Hate
My
It,
favorite segment.
which is not rapid fire
It is
anymore.
not.
We gave up on that dream.
Yep.
Well, first off, I have Heart It or Hate It headbands.
You're gonna say heart it.
How did you know?
You're a headband girly. You wear headbands.
How did you know that?
I've seen you wearing headbands.
When? I feel like I've never worn headbands around you.
No, I've seen you wearing headbands.
Okay.
Maybe in like pictures and stuff.
Maybe. I
Yeah.
am a headband girly.
Yeah.
I like them. I feel like I haven't worn one on the podcast yet,
No.
but I will.
Well, it's funny that this was your heart it or hate it because I bought a headband yesterday. No, Wednesday I bought a headband.
Really? Mm-hmm. Like a fun one?
Yeah, I wore it to my in-person networking breakfast.
Okay.
And it was really cute. And I really liked it. It's like a fabric, and it's got like a little knot,
Yeah.
and it's like pink florally pattern.
Okay.
I bought it at CVS when I bought in the
Your
last
mood
episode the mood ring.
Oh.
How many episodes will I talk about mood rings? Moving on. So I heart them.
Okay.
I just don't wear them. I'm not really great.
Do you
at, like,
have any others, or is this your like first headband purchase?
No, I do have like a red gingham one that's like got a little like bow, like tied knot that I'll often wear like for patriotic events.
Right.
Like it's kind of like my go-to, like 4th of July, whatever.
Yeah.
So I've worn that a couple times, and then I bought another like knotted one. It's like silk, and it's like a dark blue, navy blue, but I don't like that one. I think I bought it for like a specific outfit. I don't really like it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I love them, especially in the summer. They're just like so fun.
Yeah.
And it's like when I don't want to wear. Sometimes I put them in my hair with my hair up, but mostly like I wear them with my hair down, so it's like it keeps my hair out of my face, but also my hair can still like look cute down.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I think I didn't wear headbands for a really long time, but
I got into them a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And now I own several.
I also used to hate headbands as a kid because they would hurt my ears.
Yeah.
I remember, but
But then you toughened up.
I think
Well, I don't think so.
the makers of headbands have just improved. Or they're like not like the little plastic thin ones anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you were a kid, they were like just those little like
They took our feedback.
But I also do like the look of like those ones that are like with white pearls and stuff, or like rhinestoney ones, but I haven't tried any of those yet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I heard it.
Okay.
For sure.
All right.
All right. Mine, heard it or hate it. Etsy. You're like, I don't use it.
I don't, but I'm thinking I'll go hard it.
Yeah.
I have only bought one thing off of Etsy.
Yeah.
And no complaints.
Yeah.
I do hate that sometimes you find a product that's like $4 and then the shipping is like $8. And I'm
Yes.
like, okay, well,
Yes.
that's silly.
Yes. I agree. So I heart it. I'm a big Etsy person.
You sell stuff on Etsy now.
I do. So that's one of the reasons why I brought it up. It's a shameless plug. I'm selling my stickers on Etsy now because that's my latest hyperfixation is making stickers. And it's a lot of fun. I'm having fun doing it. So I sell those on Etsy. I've sold other things on Etsy before. I've sold wedding invitations when I was in like college. I would do like digital design. Actually, I think I even printed them a couple times and sent them to the people. So I did that for a little while. Then I was selling my embroidery hoops on Etsy. I think that the like makers that sell on Etsy don't tend to like Etsy. It's just kind of like the best option that's
for
out
like
there.
the crafty.
Yeah, but Etsy's, I think there's like this whole backstory about like new CEO, like, you know, fees got increased.
Right.
They like prioritize like the people with the big budgets that aren't necessarily like selling handmade stuff, but it's like reproduced, that like it's just kind of messy. So some crafters will like now opt for Shopify websites instead if they can, but Etsy's definitely an easier barrier to entry than like getting your own website. So, but I like it. I don't have any issues with it. I've always loved shopping on there. When I was thinking that I might be getting engaged soon, I was looking at all engagement rings on Etsy like a crazy person. Yeah. My husband did not buy my engagement ring off of Etsy.
I bet.
He bought it at a jewelry store. But I was showing him. I'm like, look at all these Etsy rings. I love them. They're $500. Like, go nuts.
Oh man.
And I think he probably would have actually, but he was gifted a diamond, so he needed to like. But he has bought me jewelry off of Etsy many times. Like my diamond earrings, the second hole, those are from Etsy. Just he likes to shop off of Etsy. I don't know why.
That's interesting.
I got him his wedding ring off of Etsy. You're like, you guys are trash.
It's not about where you buy it. It's about, I'd be concerned about like it getting to you.
Yeah. Well, I have seen that you can like buy insurance too. Like
And did you do that?
Well, okay, so for his, he doesn't wear a wedding ring because he works as like a machinist and he just really has no interest in wearing rings.
Red
So-
flag. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So we bought him one from the jewelry store, and then last year was our 5-year wedding anniversary, which is wood is like the element. Is it elements each year that you are? And anyway, like
I
there's
don't
like
know.
the paper anniversary, there's a silver anniversary.
Oh, there is?
Yeah. So every year there's like a theme. So 5-year is wood, so you get like a wooden gift, and I got him a wooden ring that was made out of a skateboard.
Let me tell you, the things I don't know about marriage,
Being married.
and anniversary and wedding etiquette, I could fill a book with.
And relationships.
That was kind of rude.
That was rude. I take it back. Dominique knows nothing about being in a relationship. That's
Stop
not
it.
true.
Wait, remember that time that person that we know was like, do you have a boyfriend? And I was like, no. And she goes, so let me tell you something about men. Stop it. I still think about that because I'm like,
You're like, it can't escape me.
I'm like, no, you're right. I've actually never met
A man.
Like, I don't have a dad or brothers or a stepdad or uncles or grandparents. No, I've actually never met a man because I currently don't have a boyfriend. That means I know not a single thing about men.
Well, yeah, I guess it's true that you don't celebrate anniversaries until you're married.
Well,
Some people
like, I've never been in a relationship long enough to feel like it was worthy of celebrating an anniversary.
I rest my case.
I'm just lucky, I guess.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay, we need to finish this segment. So my next one, hard it or hate it, is early boarding on an airplane. We need to relax. Whew.
I'm laughing too because my next one is going to bring us right back.
You jerk. Okay, answer mine. Early boarding for planes. Like, and by that I mean you have your assigned boarding group. You're like 1 or 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Mm-hmm.
And they're calling they're calling the groups, and you're like standing up. The line is like 50 people deep.
Uh-huh.
Why are you so eager to get on the plane?
Yeah. Yeah, no, okay, so if we're thinking about it like that, because I was thinking something else that I'll talk to you about in a second. No, sit back down. Like,
I get
we're
so
all
annoyed.
going to the same place.
I know, and I'm like, the plane's not going to leave without you.
Also-
if you're literally standing by the door.
The earlier you get on the plane, the longer you have to be on the plane.
Yes, I know.
In
That's
that annoying
my
seat.
exact point.
Yeah. Why would you want to
You're
be...
in that stuffy cabin.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to sit in my comfy airport
Like,
chair.
why do people think they're going to, like, lose out on their assigned seat? Like,
Yeah.
I
won't
don't
get
know.
into it, but like I had this, like, when I was traveling a couple months ago, there was this person that had the same boarding group as me, and she like got up like 3 groups earlier than she was supposed to, and she's like, come on, get in line, like you're gonna miss your group, like whatever. And I'm like, I'm literally sitting right here.
Yeah.
The
No.
plane is not gonna leave, and it's not even my group yet.
Mm-hmm.
It was just
No.
like so annoying, and I just don't understand what the rush is. I also don't understand why you would want to pay to be an early boarder. Like, I know
Right.
people pay to
Right.
be in groups like 1 and 2.
So that's kind of what I was thinking about when you said early boarding, is that,
I would never pay for that.
well, I've learned that with Jamie's autism diagnosis, we can qualify for free for early boarding as like
Well, I do
support.
I do love free things, but I
But-
don't want to be on the plane longer than I need
But like
to be.
I'm also like, okay, that's very nice, and like I think it helps with not having to stand in lines and stuff, but I'm telling you right now, my toddler does not want to sit in that seat. So
Right.
why would I make him sit in
yeah,
that seat?
you're like, I actually want to be the last one on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The less amount of time that I'm forcing him to sit
Yeah.
is best.
So I'm going
Let
hate
him
it.
run around that airport.
I'm going hate it, obviously.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Hate it.
in all the cases. I don't want to board early. I would actually be the one I'd love to board last if that's possible.
So yeah, we hate it.
Okay. Okay, what's the last one that's going to bring us right back?
Bumble BFFs.
Like Bumble the app?
Yeah.
Okay, wait,
Didn't
why
you
are you
use that?
Yeah. I didn't know if you knew about that. Why are you bringing this up?
Because I
What made you-
randomly, drunkenly downloaded it a couple days ago.
Katrina Gardner. Am I not good enough for you? Get out of here. Tell me why.
Tell me why.
Please,
I don't know.
Please don't.
I beg you, don't embarrass me.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I'm very impulsive as a person.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And so I downloaded it earlier this week. And
Do you have friends yet?
No.
Okay. So I...
Nobody likes me.
Yeah, well... You'll take what you can get, which is me. So 2 years ago, right around this time, I had just like quit my full-time job and was like on a fun employment summer. And my therapist was like, yeah, that's another long story. But basically she was like, you need to make friends. And I was like, oh, that literally sounds awful. So I did download Bumble BFFs, and I did end up meeting two really cool girls, Sarah and Abby. I don't think either of them listen to this podcast, but so yeah, this was like 2 years ago. Sarah was a traveling PT, and she was from St. Louis. She had her first gig out here in Worcester, then she had her second gig in Cape Cod, then she went to Arizona, now she's in Hawaii, so she kind of goes everywhere. So for her, she was using it because she's new to the area.
Yeah.
And so she was really cool. We met, we hung out, and when she went to the Cape, we hung out, and even now that she was in Arizona and Hawaii, we still are like in touch. Obviously, I haven't been out there yet to visit her or anything, but you know, that was great. And she and I, we went out for breakfast. The first time I had like met her on the app, we went out and met for breakfast. And she was saying to me like, oh, like, have you met other friends on Bumble BFF? And I was like, no, actually, like, you're like one of the first. Actually, that was the second time we went out. The first time we went out was for Mexican food. But anyways, she was like, oh, have you like met other girls on Bumble BFF? And I was like, no, not really. There was this one girl that like we connected and we said we were going to hang out. But then at the time I had gotten COVID. So like I kind of had to like ghost her for a couple weeks because I was sick. And then I was starting a new job. So, and I was like, yeah, there was that one girl. I think her name was Abby. She's like, wait. And I was like, what? She's like, wait, I met a girl on Bumble BFF, Abby. Oh my God. And we compared, and she, like, it was the same Abby. And so we were like, wait, let's all go hang out together. And so that's how we made a good group of three.
Oh, nice.
And then, like, obviously Sarah moved away, and Abby and I ended up becoming, like, really good friends. So we've hung out a bajillion times now, and, like, we're good friends. But
it worked out really well for you.
It did. Yeah, it did, but I don't think I'd go back on.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like the need for it right now.
So do you heart it or hate it?
I guess I heart it. I heart it. I think it's a good idea. Like,
You have
it
a
was
good success story.
I have a good success story, but also like that was at the time when I wasn't working, and I hadn't joined YBWA yet.
Yeah.
I had just joined kickboxing, so like I wasn't doing anything social.
Yeah.
That would introduce me to new people. So I like wasn't meeting women in my area. But now that I'm like involved in all these, so it's a good outlet for people who like don't have like other social outlets basically. Like if you're just working and going home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there aren't as many options. It's hard to make friends as an adult. I'll give you that.
I actually did download it like maybe like a year ago or something. For like just a couple days, because I was like, maybe I can meet other mom friends, like other women that have toddlers. There's not a lot of moms on Bumble
Which is
BFFs.
funny because 2 years ago when I was on, I kept swiping on girls who were my age who had toddlers, and I was like, oh, that ain't me, sis.
No, I'm either finding like girls that are in their late 20s, early 30s that don't have kids, or women in their 40s that have older kids.
Yeah.
So that time when I downloaded it for that, I was like, this isn't really working. And this time I just got drunk and downloaded it. And
so are you going to say heart it or hate it?
I think for now, heart it, just because it's fun.
Uh-huh.
I never got to experience dating apps, so at least
Right.
I get to
Yeah,
experience Bumble BFF.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
On that
I'll
note-
heart it for now.
On that note. So I think we agreed on everything this segment.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, what an interesting week. All right. Well, that's all for now. Thanks so much again for listening. Subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. Follow us on Instagram. And once again, a quick shout out to WICN Studio 50 for hosting us here. We will see you next week.
Later ladies.